Welcome to Chamber of Scream. Our today's horror story is centered around a Hostel Horrors. So without further delay, let's get started.
I'd always been drawn to the mysterious and the macabre. So when I stumbled upon the decrepit hostel in the heart of the old city, I couldn't resist the urge to explore. My name is Alex, and I have a penchant for seeking out the unknown. Little did I know that this adventure would become a nightmare that would haunt me for the rest of my life. The hostel stood nestled among ancient, overgrown trees, their branches forming a sinister canopy over the worn-down building. The windows were broken, and the paint had peeled away long ago, leaving behind a grotesque caricature of its former self. Still, I couldn't help but feel a strange pull toward it. The moment I entered the dimly lit lobby, an eerie silence enveloped me. The air was thick with an unsettling stillness, as if time itself had frozen within those decaying walls. The reception desk was covered in dust, and the guest book was filled with faded names and dates that seemed to stretch back centuries. Ignoring the unease that had begun to creep over me, I approached the reception desk and rang the bell. A shiver ran down my spine as I heard the faint, distant sound of footsteps echoing from somewhere deep within the hostel. Moments later, a tall, gaunt man with sunken eyes and a crooked smile appeared. "Welcome," he croaked, his voice a raspy whisper. "How can I help you?" "I'm looking for a place to stay for the night," I replied, trying to mask my unease. "Of course," he said, handing me a tarnished key. "Room 13, at the end of the hall. Don't mind the creaking floors. The building has a mind of its own." I nodded and made my way down the dimly lit hallway, the floorboards groaning with each step. The silence was oppressive, broken only by the occasional distant whisper or unsettling giggle that seemed to come from nowhere. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. As I reached room 13, the key turned reluctantly in the lock, and I entered a room shrouded in darkness. The only light came from the flickering candle on the bedside table. The bed itself was a creaking monstrosity, covered in tattered sheets, and the walls were adorned with peeling wallpaper that seemed to depict grotesque, shifting shapes. I tried to dismiss my unease as mere paranoia, but it was impossible to shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong with this place. That night, as I lay in bed, I heard the whispers grow louder, more insistent. They seemed to be coming from the walls themselves, as if the very building were trying to communicate with me. I couldn't sleep, and my mind began to play tricks on me. Shadows danced on the walls, taking on grotesque forms, and the room felt impossibly cold. I pulled the covers tightly around me, but no amount of warmth could chase away the bone, chilling dread that had settled in my chest. Suddenly, the door to my room creaked open, and I gasped as a figure emerged from the darkness. It was the same gaunt man from the reception desk, his eyes now empty sockets, and his crooked smile stretched impossibly wide. "Welcome to the hostel," he whispered, his voice a sinister hiss. I tried to scream, but no sound escaped my lips. The figure moved closer, its presence suffocating. It reached out a bony hand, and I felt an icy grip around my throat, squeezing tighter and tighter. My vision began to blur, and I struggled to breathe.